Well, good morning. It's George, and I'm not here live in person, but I wanted to make sure that we got this for everybody. So let's get started. Emerging Agent Bootcamp. We're talking about working with buyers, and we're specifically focusing on the tools. Now, I'm going to cover some housekeeping real quick. This is an 8-part series. We've done scheduling, we've done focus, we're working with buyers now, the tools, and we're actually do next week is going to be working with buyers, actual live stuff. How do you do this? How do you put it to use? What's it look like when you're with a buyer? Questions that come up. These are broken down into 3 30-minute segments. And the first segment is really more of a class section where we're going to talk about these tools. We're going to kind of bring them out, showcase them today. The next 30 minutes is going to be up to y'all, and that's having conversations, pulling it up, making sure there's an understanding of how the tool works. And I'm going to have to leave you to do that one on your own. I'm just going to do the first part of it. And the last segment that's going to come up is basically anything you want to cover. It's about real estate, anything that's open topic. This is for you. Thursdays are your days. It's to help you be the most amazing agent you possibly can. Now, I wouldn't do this service if I didn't talk about the checklist, the Jumpstart checklist that we have. This is so important to your success. If you're following this appropriately, you are going through and literally going step by step through the checklist. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to share my screen real quick, and I want to touch base on this because I think it's so important. You'll notice that this is in the exact right order. This has been literally 4.5 years of us creating this. And when we get to the newly licensed agent, this is so important that you literally go step by step. And every time you do something, you need to put a check mark here just so that we know, because we're going to follow up and make sure you know what you're doing. This will get you where your skill set is incredibly strong after 4 weeks. Now, the question always comes up, well, what if I've got a real buyer, a real seller I want to work with? That's terrific. Let's teach while we're doing the real job. But in lieu of that real buyer, we want you to go through exercises that have you participating in the art of real estate, from valuing properties to showing a home, opening a door, to building your listing presentation, which is actually part of week 4. If you need it earlier, that's cool. We got that too. But until then, let's follow the steps. Don't jump ahead of this. Okay. So this is a very, very powerful tool that's designed for you. It is 4.5 years. And if you think that it's in the wrong order, I challenge you that you're not correct on that. Okay. And this is no arrogance, but after 20 years of doing this, we have a pretty good idea. And it's not me. It's a whole lot of us that have been involved in this. Okay. As I said, the first one right now, what we're going to do, we're hopping into some tools. And what we're going to cover today, specifically, we're going to cover the buyer presentation. What to expect, which is something you can include in your buyer presentation, the affordability calculator, which is a link that I wanted you to have, the non-binding offer, which is how to discuss and how to have in your binder, your buyer's presentation binder or folder, how to have that in there, and the all-important buyer agreement. Those are our big topics for today. I have this set up so the buyer presentation, I'm going to share my screen with this as well. This presentation is through, not there. There's a ton of them. You're going to pick the one you want, and the link that is in this this particular document, Joe will be pulling this out. Joe, it's in the let's pull the document out. I'm going to send it to Tiffany. You should have it to be able to drop in. There are a ton of, well, right here, buyer presentations. Everything you need, you can find in our websites, in the EXP attraction. Those are the wrong ones, of course. Consumer-facing content, that's what you're looking for. So that's a great place at which to do it. Now, I don't actually use one of those. I use a binder, a 3-ring binder. You all know this. I'm a big fan of these 3-ring binders. This is my listing, pre-listing package that I send out. It's hard to see with the background. We're going to cover that as well. Personalized buyer presentation. Now, this link is right here. So this is the personalized buyer presentation, and here is the buyer presentation link, which brings you into our marketing department. On the personalized buyer presentation, let's click that. We'll open it up. I want to show you what's involved in this. This is a shareable document that you can have and you can pull off yourself, and I'd like you to take it and then create your own customized one. I set it up to be pretty generic this direction. It talks about a lot of information. It has, in this case, ours. If you want to delete it, just delete the entire page. What the guide is, understanding agency. This is all something so that you can create a document that actually has some substance to it. Okay, that's the purpose behind it, is to be able to give to your clients reciprocity coming from contributions. So if I'm working with a buyer, and this is something we're going to cover more in detail next week, if I'm working with a buyer, when I go show that first home, we walk through the home, and before we leave, I said, listen, I wanted to present this to you. This has got some really great information. And then I'm going to open it up, and the first one they're going to see is that, the one I just showcased to you, and it's more filler than anything else, in my honest opinion. The most important is going to be the buyer agreement, which goes on this front page right here. I'm going to keep that right there. And on the very back page, we'll get to it as well. I have a sample contract, which is actually in the binder itself. And then I have purchase agreements in the back page as well. In case they want to purchase something, I can write it right then. And that's the reason. It gives me something to pass off to them. And in doing so, it gives them, they'd be like, oh my God, that's so nice of you. Now, obviously, your front cover page, whatever page you're going to put on the front of it, I want you to do something that makes it a little bit more yours. And with this document, you can customize this, do whatever you want. When you download it to yourself and save it, and you have to click on the download button, it becomes your own Word document, and edit this out to make it you, to make it relevant. And please remember, this buyer presentation is just the beginning. You're going to continue to add to it. You're going to find things that are important to you, and you want to create something where you give it to them. They go, wow, this is really pretty cool. This has got some good things. It's going to separate you from everybody else. Now, a footnote for everybody, because we're all emerging agents at this point on this call. That's the idea, or we're refreshing our skills. Please remember, use the words we. In that presentation that you just put together, the one that where I just showed it, and it had, in that case, it had myself, my wife, and then Lorraine, who is our transaction manager. Excuse me. Maybe it's you, and maybe it's your mentor or your partner that shows who's part of the team. And then spend a little bit of time on this. This is the WOB section of the day, working on my business. I encourage you to spend about an hour a day working on your business. Right now, you have more time than you do money. So let's put that time to use. Let's make this package, get the first one ready, get it out where I've got it. I can go. And then keep it all in one folder so you can literally go click, 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 print, print, print. And they all come out. All you got to do is punch them. And in 5 minutes, you've got a buyer presentation. When you feel you're pretty comfortable with it, and I encourage you to continue evolving this, when you feel you're comfortable with it, make sure it's saved somewhere where you can get to it right away. That now becomes the foundation to your buyer presentation. Now, your buyer presentation is coupled along with what you do with KV Core, setting up customized searches, using the MLS for searches, although KV Core is a better platform. And if we have time today, let me write that down. I want to share with you my KV Core video that I made that shows how you use KV Core as a search engine. So let's make sure we have time for that. KV Core video. There, I just marked it down so I have it. All right, I'm going to carry on with more of that. We covered the buyer presentation. As I said, consider a binder. The what to expect portion, which can be included in there as well. I've included this inside of the inside of this template so that you have it. This document is accessible to you. I find it to be a little bit bland, but I think that there's some opportunities here because it really does, maybe adding some photos or really just kind of snazzing it up a bit so it's a little more enjoyable to read. But it covers some of the things that are important, that are part of the buying process. If you're not 100% familiar with it, please read this because it does cover it for you as well. I would encourage you to take a lender out because we're talking about, credit repairs, things like that, pay your credit cards on time, things that are important. Anyway, this is a full document ready for you too, and I find it to be pretty user-friendly. I incorporated it in my buyer package. It's at the back, and when I open it up, I said, so here's really an overview of everything to expect, and here are some frequently asked questions and basically answers to those questions in the back regarding how does your credit get affected, regarding the process and everything else. I wanted you folks to be fully informed as we go forward on this really exciting journey. It's kind of a script I would use while doing so. Okay, now, this is not for your binder. It's called the Affordability Calculator, and it's a link that I thought was pretty sexy and pretty cool. The Affordability Calculator is right here, and when you open it up, you can put in your annual income, your debt to income, where you live, and the available funds. This will actually start calculating it for you. It's from Realtor.com. It helps you if you're talking to your client. If you're not, where they're on a Zoom call or something like that. I also carry around in my phone a mortgage calculator, and I want to see if I can get that to show up on the screen. Actually, I can. I'll show you quickly how I use this. There, we did it. Outstanding. Okay, so I have this button right here is my mortgage calculator. Now I'm going to go through it real quick. What it does is it determines the monthly payments, and I'll go back to the screen so you can see what it looks like. Again, I want you to make sure you have it so you can identify it. This is on an iPad or an iPhone. I'm pretty sure it's pretty similar on this one. So let's say the home price is $500,000. They're going to put 20% down. I can adjust that by simply clicking, changing it to 10. It'll adjust for it. Or I can say it's just the loan price only by clicking this button on the top. The interest rate is a toggle. I'll slide it over and make it 6%. The loan is 30 years, and then the monthly. Now in here, you'll also have, as you notice, you've got your property tax, which you can include in there. Although please be careful about that, because if we're going to run the numbers for our clients, we want to have an idea of what their cost is, excluding property tax and insurance. If you want to include them, you can for each property, and it works fairly well, but let them know that this is an estimate. The lender will give us a full one, but this is pretty darn close. So in this case, let's go for property tax. It is definitely not percentage. Say 2578. Hold on one second. Sorry about that, folks. There we go. Switch it to dollars, 2570 or 87. Insurance is $800. So their payment is $2,900 a month for a $500,000 home, putting 50% down with a 6% interest rate. By the way, that $2,900 a month, take a look at what happens. It's now 32 and it's 7%. 6.5 is 31, excuse me. At 7%, it's 32. So we went from 2,900, 2997 or 2973 to 32, a $300 increase or a 10% increase by 1% increase in our cost. It's important to have this because this will definitely help you be able to have that very, very comfortable for you where you're talking numbers, work on your mortgage rates, do a 20-year mortgage. If you're buying a boat, I do that all the time for fun. It's up to you, but that mortgage calculator is something that you're going to want as a tool. Darn it, I forgot to say, I said I was going to share with you what that looks like. Let's see if that comes up, and it doesn't. So let's share one more time. Well, or you can just go back in this one, but what it is it has a house with a big plus on it. It's an orange box. I'll see if I can pull that up. Actually, I'm going to do this now. This is important that y'all have this. This is the mortgage calculator that I personally use. I find it to be very, very effective. Right there. So if you type in mortgage calculator, you should have the option to pull that one up. And in doing so, keep that on your phone. You're going to find you use that all the time when they're saying, well, what does that look like? It's good for you to know that. The more you know about mortgages, the better off you're going to be. All right. Now, in your contract, or in your, in your folder, and don't forget, the back is a great place to showcase you. Maybe it's your Zillow links, maybe it's whatever it would be, something that highlights you. So when they take it and they're looking at it and they turn it over, they're like, oh my God, this person's amazing. Your job is to sell you and your skills. Now, quick note on Zillow. If you've got a mentor or a partner or a sponsor or somebody who you have confidence in, and they have a Zillow page, join their team. It's very easy to do. I could literally send you an invitation and you can join the team right away. Now you're part of a bigger group. You're no longer an I, you're a we. Obviously, use your best decisions on doing that. The answer is, of course, yes. You want to create And that's a different conversation. It's actually in the checklist. You want your Zillow reviews, you want your realtor.com reviews, you want your forward-facing persona on social media to be very, very strong. An easy way at which to jumpstart that is to join a team. Now, the concern is, well, what if I take a review and I join a team and I put a review in there and then I leave? The review stays with you. Okay, this is just exclusive to Zillow. We've had agents on our team all the time. I actually am placing one on our team once I could figure out how to log back in. My bad. You're welcome to join our team as well. What I want you to do is, this is, a little sidebar on Zillow. Talk to your friends, people that you know that you've discussed real estate with. Zillow has different options, or they did a while ago. I think they still do. It's exactly the same, where you can actually have a friend give you a review. And one of the options was looking at homes, but didn't buy anything. They need to identify what activities occurred. And the review would be, if they selected, how did you work together in a real estate capacity, looking at homes, didn't purchase anything. Their review may be, and I'll use me as an example, George is an amazing real estate agent. His knowledge is incredible. We were looking to buy a property and we looked at quite a few homes. None of them were the right fit. And he was so honest about making sure that we found the perfect home. So we're still looking, and I am absolutely going to work with him again. That's a really powerful review. So I would encourage you to maybe ask, you can't have family do it, but you can have friends, people that are engaged in real estate or that you've talked to about real estate can do that. Get creative on this one. If you add 2 reviews per week, that's 100 in the first year. Okay, that makes you very, very powerful. However, you may, as I said, you may want to join somebody and say, hey, can I join your team on Zillow for 6 months? And you have the power to pull it away whenever you're ready. It'll give you a little more validity. All right, so back of the binder, I have 2 contracts, I have 2 contracts that are blank and ready to go. On those contracts, I've highlighted the as-is inspection section where we can cancel at any time for any reason, because these are our outs. I said, I want you to know that. Also, when it comes to loan commitment, we have to get loan commitment in 21 days or 30 days or whatever the case may be. If you cannot get loan commitment, you can cancel the contract. You're not obligated to go forward and you'll get your escrow back. So really, this is more of a, and this is what I say to them, this is more of a, we're going to make an offer, see if we can come to terms. And then after we look at the property, we're really going to decide if we move forward. So we have an extra week really in there of free time. Now, off of that script, one of the big things we always want to do is we want to put pen to paper, have a buyer put a pen to paper making an offer. Now, I hope this will get covered a little bit in next week's, but I am going to foreshadow a touch with this. I love this home. We looked at 5 or 6 homes, and this is one of the things I like to do when I'm looking at properties with somebody. I'll have the tear sheets, the MLS pages for their homes, and we just go see a home. I said, "What do you think?" So, "Oh, that one's okay. That's great." So I'll put it in my folder because I have my folder, and they have their folder. Their folder has theirs, which is the customer synopsis. My folder has the broker synopsis and other relevant information. And I prepare for showings. I prepare for especially that first showing section, that first, let's go see 3 or 4 or 5 homes with the intention that they're prepared to buy one of these properties. So I do some good research. Now, I don't necessarily share that research all the time, but I'm fully prepared if they're interested. I say, well, I happen to get this, and I know that this property was on the market, went pending, came off the market, went pending, went on the market, went pending. So I think there may be some challenge in inspection. Okay, that's just what I like to do. That's in my folder. So their folder has their sheet, and I grab that sheet from them and said, okay, this is a possibility. That's terrific. Hang tight 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. Now, when we get to the second home, I ask them, I said, can I have that first home we looked at, the page, after we've gone through and we've looked at the second home? By the way, I give them the buyer agreement at the end of the first property. And we're going to cover that in just a couple minutes. Right now, I'm kind of talking about the role playing through there. So I'll take that. I'll say, can I have that sheet on the first property? And then I hold that one. I said, now we've got 2 homes here. Both of them are very, very nice properties. The question I have, though, the one that's most important question is, of the 2 of these, which one's your favorite? And then please be quiet. Finally, they'll say, well, of the 2 of them, it was that one. So this one is not your favorite. The other one is. Yes. I take it, fold it in half, and I put it in my envelope. And I do that on purpose. People get confused. We've always said this home is better than this one. Also, just kind of a footnote, it says, so we know about this home, the one that's not your favorite, and I'm kind of feeling the same way. I'm going to give this home a nickname, and I'm going to say Spiderweb in Corners house, so we can look at it and know exactly what it was, because there were spider webs all over the place. I don't know if you noticed. I'm like, oh yeah, I did. Here's the thing. After 3 or 4 properties, they're going to start naming the homes with their own nicknames. One of them is going to be the perfect home. That's the nickname they'll give it, or something similar to that. By starting that process of giving a home a nickname and taking away the one they're no longer interested in, because one's always going to win. When you say, and they're going to, by the way, they will push back a little bit. It's like, I'm not really sure. I like them both. I understand that. And let them have that win where there's 2. And then that next home you see, they don't get to have 3. So of these 2 homes we both loved, how does this one compare? Well, it's better than one, but not the other. So which one goes away? Because we can only have 2 choices. Tell them that. Be honest with them about it. All right. Now I have blank offers in the back of my binder. My binder is on purpose. It has everything I need to effectively execute a contract, particularly in the first showing. Now I don't need to bring this on the first one. This is what I bring on my, or excuse me, on the second one. This is what I bring on my second showing. Same thing, just a little folder. I can put it in there. I will have it stamped if there's something in here we need. I will put 3 ring punches in there. I happen to have one right beside me for that because this is where I work. And I will add to it. I said, let's add this to your binder. Also, let them know, if you wouldn't mind, bring the binder with you. It's got some good information that we'll be able to use. So they get in the habit of, when they're going out being professional, they've got professional tools with them. If they bring the binder, you're very much in relationship. We're going to get to what I think is probably the most important part. And this one has some people disagree left and right. That's cool. On the bottom, it says buyer agreement. So this is the GPS buyer agreement. It's something that we've used exclusively for a very long time. It is completely editable. If you click on this after you download it, it's a Word document. You can make it your own, whatever you want to do. Here's the thing. This entire binder and all of this is what we do. Now, this seems kind of forward heavy, but what it is, let's say private showing, certified negotiation expert if you are, answers to all questions on your behalf, best price possible, list of vendors, provide everything, coordinate final documents and closings. Your commitment, and this is the part that really has the weight to it. Your commitment, John and Susie, is to notify of any home you want to see so we can schedule a private tour for you, provide us with honest feedback, inform builders for sale by owner agents that we're working with, that you're working with us so that we can help protect you. And please make all offers on homes with our assistance, because our job is to protect you and save you money. Understand that you're under no obligation to buy or to build a home, and that you can cancel this at any time for any reason. What this does, Johnny and Susan, is it makes sure you know that I know that you know what I have to do for you, and that I will always look out for your best interest. And what I do is I take a pen and a piece of, or a pen at the bottom, and I said, I'm going to sign this right now, and I'm going to give it to you so you have the document. And I sign it. I put my name on it. I put the date. Said that is my commitment to you. Now, do me a favor, both of you, give me your John Hancock's on there. You're going to keep the document. I'm just going to take a picture of it for my records. And that way you have me bound. You know what I have to do. And at any time you're not satisfied, fire me, please. But I know you won't, because I'm going to work my ass off to make sure you get the right home. Having them put pen to paper on that, and I do it first, always. I said, let me do this because I am 100% bound to my commitment to you. I absolutely will. And if you're comfortable just letting me set up the showings for you and letting me advise you on that, would you mind signing that? I'm going to take a picture, but I want you to keep that in your binder. That is your document. I'm just keeping a photo for my records. Grab your phone, take a picture of it. It's the same style document. It qualifies, and they put pen to paper. That's the most important part. Now, we spoke of pen to paper and how important it is on an offer. So I'm going to give you this as well. If we are seeing these homes, we've gone through this, and we've gotten down to, we've got 2 properties that we like. And we say, okay, of those 2, is there one that's the standout favorite? Well, not really. They're both great. Okay. Pick one that you really think you might like, and then tell me if they said this is what it would sell for. I mean, a pretty crazy low offer. And they agreed to a pretty crazy low offer that you absolutely, without question, would have to buy this home. And for our conversations in this role play, let's say there's one at 4 and at 410. And the 400 was the really sweet home with the pool. That was its nickname, the sweet pool home. They said, well, we really like the sweet pool home. That seemed to have all the bells and whistles. I said, 400, it's a fair price. I've done my homework. Remember, first one's out the gate. I've done my homework. So it's a fair price. But what's the amount of money if they agreed to a certain offer where you couldn't turn it down? You'd have to take it. I mean, it'd be foolish not to. Well, 350, even 360 would be phenomenal. So, well, let's do this. If they even blink, we can cancel the contract. But if they flat out accept your offer based on your terms, I mean, just say, yes, we're going to accept it, kind of a no-brainer. Would that make sense to you? Would you feel like you got the best deal in the world? You're like, yeah, absolutely. That'd be phenomenal. I'm going to put that price in there. They've got a refrigerator and the washer and dryer. Make sure those are included as well as the pool equipment. And while we're touring this next property, I'm going to write this up. Now, remember, if they counter anything, we can simply cancel and we're nowhere. We're just seeing if they'll take our offer based on our terms. So let's look at this home as well. I'm going to get this written up. I've got a contract in the back. I put in the address. I put in the price. I said, what are you thinking for down payments? Now they're thinking, okay, what does this look like? And I fill the whole thing out, and then I have them sign an initial here, initial here, initial here, initial. Remember, and keep telling them this. You can cancel, you can cancel, you can cancel. This is not a commitment. This is an inquiry more than anything. And if they accept your terms flat out, you've just gotten the best priced property, period. I mean, it's a huge win. That would be like the best win I've ever seen. And that's because you chose what I think is a great price. Now they're feeling good about that. But remember, it's probably going to be a ridiculous number. It doesn't matter. I said, okay, I'm going to get this submitted. After we're done, we'll go home. I'm going to get this submitted to them. I've got your pre-approval letter, or you'll need to send that to me, and I'm going to send it through. Here's their process at home. God, there's no way they'd accept that. What if they accepted that? I really like that home. Psychologically, with pen to paper, you have to agree that you like what you're doing. It's the same thing if you ask somebody to do you a favor. You have to like them. If you have somebody that you don't think likes you very much, ask them to do you a favor. If they do that favor, they have to like you. Their psyche won't allow them to do a favor for somebody they don't like. It's amazing how that it builds bridges and helps people get together. Same thing when you're writing an offer. When writing the offer, they have to say, wow, we might get it. And during the course of that afternoon and that evening, they're going, whoa, what have we got it? Oh my God. But either way, they're now no longer afraid to put pen to paper. There's no threat to it. That's huge because new things scare people. So take the fear out. There's no commitment. It's ridiculously low. If they accept it, you'd be crazy not to take this, right? And have them give you a figure and submit that first offer. They know the process now. They know it isn't life-threatening, and they know they have the ability to make changes and decisions on their own. This is huge, and we'll get them to write contracts quickly. That's courtesy of Brent Gove, who is leading the Build event coming up shortly. All right. So these tools are available for you. I'm pretty sure they've dropped the entire syllabus, the page that I've been working off of, in the chat. If not, Joe, Tiffany, please drop it again for everybody and put it in, if you will, the daily downloads, as well as drop it into our class or into the GPS partners in Workplace, so that you have access to this, because all the documents we covered, including the buyer package, are in there waiting for you. Now, as we talked about, now it's going to be a little bit of role play. So I'm going to ask somebody who's participating, who's perhaps a little more knowledgeable as far as working with buyers, to jump in and kind of tell about some stories of how you did that first one, how they wrote that offer. Let's as a team start helping each other understand what's going on. Remember, we've got some emerging agents who haven't worked with a buyer yet and are a little freaked out, as we all were, going, holy crap, what's this experience like? Let's share with them what the experience of that first experience with a buyer is. And remember, follow the checklist. You should, at this point, if you're on week 2 or week 3 or week 4, you should have gone through at least 6 to 12 to 18 homes. Open the doors. So opening the doors is a piece of cake. You should have valued probably 3 or 4 or 6 properties. So you can give the value to somebody, and you've written contracts that I would hope your sponsor or your mentor has reviewed for you, a minimum of 2 a week. So you can write a contract with your eyes closed. You've read the contract. It's part of the checklist. Everything in there is to get you to the point of being amazing. Follow it. please. It's built for you, literally just for you. All right. God bless you. I'm going to finish with what I always do. Go out and tell somebody you love them. Tell them that they're awesome and that you care about them. You never know when you'll change a life. And as important as changing somebody's life, that is also the principle behind database. It's not about asking for referrals. It's about creating relationships that actually matter. And those relationships work really well when it comes to supporting your business. Think about this. You would never do business with somebody you don't trust. But if you trust somebody, you'll do business with them right away. So I would challenge you to make sure that they know that they can count on you and they trust you, and that you are not solely interested in them for a business relationship. You're interested in them because they're great people and they deserve the honor and respect of being your friend. God bless you guys. Have an awesome day. We will see you probably tomorrow. Tom's teaching tomorrow. It's going to be a great class. Bye now.